Hello my crafty friends, it's Jelly Bean, and today is week number 2 of our summer craft hop giveaway. So today we're going to have a tutorial on this paintbrush, but do not forget to go to the description box below, click on the show more down there, and visit the other 5 ladies channels. And don't forget to comment and like on the videos for the hop. And subscribe to their channels so you can be entered into our $30 grand prize giveaway, which will be held on the 29th of this month, the last Saturday of the month. And you can win $30 PayPal credit. Anyway, today I am going to do a tutorial on an altered paintbrush. I had a project share before, and a couple people actually asked for me to do a tutorial on the paintbrush, so that's what we're doing today. Also, today's prize, this week's prize, is the paintbrush, and also there's another item that's going to go along with the paintbrush, but you got to keep watching to see what it is. So the video is going to be a little long for the tutorial, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let me show you how to make this. First of all, you're going to need one of these little bristle paintbrushes. These are called China bristle paintbrushes. They're used for oils and finishes in the real paint world. But you're gonna need one of these. I got this one at Walmart. I think it was $1.29, $1.35, something like that. It was pretty inexpensive. Now, I colored my bristles and my handle. Some people just color the bristles, some people don't color either one, but I like to color both of mine. And I am using Distress Oxide ink. This is Pickled Raspberry. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a pink tint to the bristles and color the handle up. And I'm using my distress tool with the foam on it, and I'm just coloring my bristles, rubbing it down on it. You might want to make sure to have a piece of scrap paper underneath. And if you hold it up, it kind of gets the bristles kind of all the way through, so it's not just looking like the top of it's colored. I like mine to look all the way through, so I do it like this. You can, if you just like the top layer look, you can do that as well. I try to get mine as pink as possible, so I kind of run it all over them like this. Keep your little sponge pretty inked up. I'm gonna try to stay in frame, y'all. I have a habit of getting out of frame, so I'm gonna try to stay in frame for y'all. But that's starting to look pretty pink on there. I like the way that looks now. And up at the very top, you don't have to get up at the very top up here, because that's going to be covered with lace anyway. So, alright, that to me looks pretty good. Got it good and pink in there. Now I'm going to color the handle. And I just take my sponge and roll it around, just like you're trying to color a card. And this ink actually goes on very well on this wood. I was surprised how well it did cover, but it covers really well. Make sure to get your edges real good. This is kind of dark. I didn't have another oxide ink. The oxide inks I really like. They cover very well on most surfaces, but I didn't have another color pink yet to use on here, so I got everything covered pretty good except for this edge right here. Okay, now got everything covered pretty good, and on the other one that I did, and I'm gonna show y'all something. This is the way I store my little pads for my ink. I take my ink and put my pad inside the ink, and I close it up, and I put a rubber band around it, which now I've lost my rubber band, but I just put a rubber band around it to hold it closed. This one stays closed pretty good because I've used it a lot. But now I think I'm going to use some of this walnut stain oxide to kind of mute it down some and make it a little bit darker, because it's more like a hot pink right now. And I got a sponge dauber. I'm just like brushing over it just a little to kind of mute it down some. See how it turns it from hot pink to a little bit more muted. I like hot pink, but not for this project. And I'm not coloring the whole thing. I'm just kind of dry brushing a little bit over it, which dry sponging, I should say, instead of dry brushing. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just put it on there. And now I'm going to sand it a little bit more to help lighten it up some. Now this up against this is going to be covered anyway, so that doesn't have to be perfect. And then just a light sanding over it to kind of blend it in, to stress it a little bit. Want it to look a little bit aged. There we go. Distress it a little bit and try to keep the dust out. Okay, I'll make sure we're still in frame here. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of this chalkboard paint white. This is the Plaid Folk Art. I believe I just got this at Walmart. I could have got it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, I don't know. But I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of this, and I'm going to kind of dry brush it on there. When I'm using such a little bit like this, I just use it off the lid. I've got a bristle brush, one of these just like this one, and I'm just barely going to put a little bit of paint on it. I'm going to wipe most of it off, and then I'm just going to barely just wipe a little bit on there. Again, I'm just barely going to get some on here, wipe most of it off, and I just want to give it a little, brighten it up a little bit, but I didn't want it that hot pink, so I had to mute it down with the walnut, and then this kind of lightens it back up. This is some mixed media, y'all. Now I'm just going to kind of make the sides match a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. There, that looks good enough. That little dot of paint we used. And we are done with the painting part now. Now it's time to decorate. I do want to let it dry just a little bit before I start putting anything on here. I'm going to go ahead and just sand it lightly to kind of blend all these different colors and layers of paint in. Okay, now I'm going to let it dry for a little while, maybe about an hour, go have some lunch, and then I'll come back, because you don't want the ink and the paints getting on your laces. Also, I'm going to get a Q-tip and put a little bit of paint or something on the Q-tip and go around on the inside of this hole. I'll go get that and come back and show you here in just a second. Let me go get a Q-tip. Uh-oh, I almost forgot to turn the camera back on. I've just got my Q-tip here, and I'm mashing it down into this oxide ink. This is the same walnut oxide ink we had earlier to darken it up, and I'm just going to put a little bit inside the hole so it just doesn't look as bright and shiny new. And like I said, I like the oxide inks. They cover very well on just about any surface. And see, now it's just not all that white pine wood color. I just got a little bit in there, and you don't have to cover the whole thing, just enough to give it a darker appearance rather than that bright shiny pine wood. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start decorating the brush. And one thing I want to tell y'all today, while my glue gun heats up, I'm gonna have a drawing for the prize package from last week. And real quick, while my glue gun's heating up, let me show you what was in last week's prize package. Last week's prize package was, I put it in a bag all together so it wouldn't get lost. But last week's prize package consisted of a Wings of Love paper pad, what is this, like almost 12-inch long sheet of this really pretty bling. It's got the little flowers and all the different colors. Some pretty butterflies that matched the collection. And these page borders that were the same colors as the paper. They're Martha Stewart. There's 16 in there. And also these bird stamps. Love is for the birds and nesting. So this was last week's prize package, and I am going to be doing the drawing for this here in just a little bit. I've gotten everybody's name that left a smiley in their comment. The way you got entered into the drawing for this, if you listen to the video, was to leave a comment below the video with a smiley in your comment. Now, if you don't know how to put the smiley, you can always just write smiley at the end of your comment. That'll also count. But this week I am giving away this paintbrush plus another something else that goes along with it, which I will show you here in a little bit. So you got to keep watching. Don't forget to click the like and comment below. Okay, is my glue gun hot yet? Yep, I think it is. Okay, the first thing I'm going to put on here is, just trimming the edge off, this crochet lace that I have. Now I've got ink and paint all over me again, y'all. I keep it on me. And this is just some vintage crochet trim that I have. I'm going to hot glue it onto the metal right here. And see right here where there's like a line in between the holes? I'm going to use that for my base to glue it onto the top of the metal right here. So about where the line is, I'll put a line of glue. I'm telling you up close so you can see, because I'll have to do it down here. But I'm going to put a line of hot glue right here on this first like lip, and then I'm going to put it down right here where it's got this, so it'll have something to stick to. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it all the way around my paintbrush and see how long I need it, and go ahead and cut it to size. And then I'll make the edge of it on the side so it won't be as noticeable. And I'll just kind of wrap it. I'll put a line of glue down the side here and put it, and then put the rest around. So, but now I'm going to put a line of glue, and I'm going to do like one side at a time. I'm not going to try to go all the way around. So, put it there, and then see my little line here in between the holes is lining up right there. Put some glue around the side here, and then we'll turn it over. And I may have cut it a little short, but thankfully this stretches. And I'm just putting another little bead of glue down on that lip. And I'm going to stretch it across there. And then kind of put a little bit of glue to kind of hold down this edge so it won't fray anymore too. Okay. And then if it's a little bit fraying and sticking out, that's okay, because we're still going to put a couple layers on here. So now we've got our first layer of lace. The second layer that I'm going to put on here is a double ruffle lace, I guess you'd call it, but it's got this really pretty mauve ribbon, satin ribbon going down the center, and this kind of brings the ruffles up and down at the same time, and I think it's really pretty. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this on first to help double that ruffle at the bottom. Almost forgot about this one, and now I'm going to center this one. So I'm going to put it kind of down the center right here. And I'm using an off-white antique-y looking lace today. I'm sorry, I know I'm out of frame right now, but it's easier for me to try to hold steady if I'm closer. But I'm putting this about halfway down the center. And we just want layers of lace to make it, build it up and make it pretty. I'm putting a little bit of glue here on the end to put the frayed pieces, to glue those down, and then go around the side here, and I'm just gluing that top little lip that you would sew if you were sewing. That's the part I'm using to glue down. Coming straight across the center there. I'm just going to stretch my lace. The other one I did, I used all white and pink, and I used a lighter pink, but I wanted to do this one a little bit different. I'll put a photo of the other one I did. I've already sent it off in a swap, but I'll add a photo after the video, the tutorial's done. At the end, I'll put the photo of the other one I also did. And I'll also put a picture of the one I received in the swap that my friend Connie made. She did a beautiful job on hers. Okay, now we got 2 layers of lace. And now I'm fixing to put the third and final layer, which is the double lace that I showed you. And I'm just going to lay it, I'm going to glue right above where I did this one here. I'm going to glue right above, and I'm going to stick this right, the center of it right there, and have it go all the way around. Now, I'm gonna start on this side. Before, it didn't matter because we were covering all this up, but I'm going to start and go around the back first, so when this lace comes back around, it overlaps and the raw edges to the back of the brush. The others didn't really matter because they're going to be covered up. And see, I'm just going to put this little bead of hot glue here right above that last piece of lace, and we're going to pull this across and glue it here. The tapping y'all hear is my dog, y'all. She needs her toenails cut, but even when I cut them, she still taps. She's a tap dancer. Okay, now I'm gonna pull this around, and she can't go lay down because my grandson is in the living room and I'm here, and she has to keep running back and forth to check on us. So across the back, didn't get none right there, and pull this across. These are really very simple, but they are so pretty. They are so pretty. It really turned out a lot prettier than what I thought it would when I agreed to swap one. I had never done one before. I'm just putting a little bit of lace here in the center to tack this down on. And now I'm going to get it quite even. I'm going to cut this off, and this is the back of our paintbrush. So see, when we finish, now the back edge is to the back. It's not flipping up in the front right here. And I'm going to make sure not to cut my other lace there behind me. And now I'm going to push that down. Okay, now see, now we got a top layer of lace coming up and a bottom layer with some underneath it. And now it's time to get fancy. Now it's time to get shabby. Alright, I had to find my needle. Now, you can use whatever you want to decorate your paintbrush. I'm going to use a variety of things. I'm going to use a little doily. My mom crochets these for me. Thank you, Mom. I need a smaller one. I may not. Yeah, I got a smaller one. Here we go. Oh, before we start putting the flowers on, I want to put a layer of this pearl to hang down at the very bottom edge right here, so it'll hang down in front. And because I don't have a lot of this pearl, I'm not going to go all the way around the paintbrush. I'm just going to put it across the front, because this is all the pearl trim I have like this, and I don't know where to get it. Someone sent me this in a swap, so I'm going to go side to side right here, right across the bottom. Cut this off. And save that last little piece. And make sure y'all can still see me. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to put a very small bead of glue down at the very bottom edge where that mauve satin ribbon is. I'm just going to put a small bead down there to lay these pearls on, so they'll kind of be right here. And I cut enough for it to go around the sides. So the only part that doesn't have it is right in the back. Straight across the back, the sides and all that. Let's see, I didn't put enough glue around the side here. I'm gonna have to add a little bit. That's another reason why I put the white paper here, because I know if I'm over the white paper, then y'all, I'm in frame and y'all can see me. That's my guide. And I'm gonna add a little bit more glue here to make sure this goes down smooth. And just to this down here. I'm just kind of tidying up my ends and edges right now. I'm just putting a little bit of glue down, getting the glue strings off. Okay. Now, we're going to put some flowers on there. Now, I have some flowers that I made, and I got the die this time to show you which one I used. Now, I keep mine in the plastic envelope, but I'm going to show you the front of it, what it looks like, so you'll see. Because I make several different kinds of flowers with this one. It's a Sizzix die. It's Sizzix number 558692. And it's the framelets. And you can see, let me get up here where I can see, make sure y'all can see. These are the pieces that comes with it. These are the ones how they're cut, how they're made. And on the back here it shows them as well. Right here, and it tells the sizes. And again, this is the number. And they're flower layers and leaf is the name of them. But they're Sizzix dies, framelets. But I use this one here. This is my favorite one. This is the one I use more than anything. And I make flowers with it. And these are the roses that I make. Now, I've made one and I've put some glass glitter on it to add to my paintbrush. I edged it in that same raspberry oxide ink. I edged it before I put it together, and then I put the glass glitter on there. And I also made this flower using the same die. You just put it together differently. But I made this, it's like a bud. It's more like a bud than a whole flower. But I made this one, and I made these. I've made many more too. I've made bigger ones, but I don't get to use those on my projects as much. But what did I do with the die? Did I put it back? Yeah, I put it back. That's my favorite die. I can't lose that one. Oh, here's the other part of it. I don't know why I cut it off, but there's the 11 dies come in the pack. There's the UPC code for it. 841182088949. But that is these dies. They were at Michael's for $24.95, and I had a coupon, so I got them 40% off, which then it was a good deal with the coupon. But I've had those for a while and made flowers with those for quite some time. I also am going to use some leaves and some eyelash trim, and I haven't decided. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this one's kind of a pinky purple color. It'll look good. I'm going to use some eyelash trim, a doily, some leaves, the flowers, and some pearls. I haven't decided if I want to use these or the circle ones yet. I don't know, but I'm going to put one of them on there. These are more white and these are off-white, so I'm probably going to use these. Matter of fact, I am. And then I'm also probably going to use some of these pearls here. These are off-white. These were at Hobby Lobby, in the fabric section where the trim is. The Merchant 41. It's got 24 foot for $1.99 in sewing. But you get these at Hobby Lobby, and they got an iridescent on them. I washed my hands, y'all, to try to get that off so it wouldn't be there for the rest of the video, but it wouldn't come off. So anyway, I'm also going to use some bling. And I have my bling box here that I'm going to pick a piece to hang. I hang a piece right here, which you've probably seen when I showed you at the beginning. And I don't know if I want to use, let me see here. I got to find the right one. well, let's see, I might use that one. It's going to depend on what it looks like when it's hanging there when everything's done too. So depending on how that looks when I finish is probably what I will use. I got 3 or 4 different ones that I might use, I like to use, so we'll just play it by ear, I reckon, and see what looks good when we get there. Yeah, that's the ones I want to choose from. So, I also need to cut these for a second. I get these are earrings that I get. There's one, and they're just costume jewelry. They're not real or anything. If they were, they would not go on the paintbrush. But I have these, and I just cut the earring part off, and that's what I'm getting ready to do right now, is cut the earring part off so I can use them. I leave them on there because some of the projects that I use, I actually use the earring part, so I don't actually cut it off until I'm ready to use it. That way I will know if I need it or not. But I just take a little pair of wire cutters, cut the earring off. That one didn't cut too short, it's poking me. I don't like when it pokes me. Sometimes you can pull them off, they don't solder them real good. They soldered the earring part onto the decorative piece, so sometimes they just pull off. But definitely don't want to step on those. Okay, I think that's everything that I'm going to use. I'm also going to put a tassel on the handle side through the hole, but I don't need that yet, I don't think. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to use before? Nah. I think this will be enough. I'm going to go ahead and... like my glue gun went off or something. Ow, hot. Oh, I'm also going to put one of my little butterflies that I made. This is a die that I have that I just cut it out once in like a pattern paper and once in vellum. And then I take seed beads and put them on a straight pin. And then while they're on the straight pin, I lay them down on top of glue and then pull my straight pin out. And then I take some gold thread. See the gold thread for the antenna, and stick it down the center of the seed beads after they're dry, and that's how I make those. But I'm gonna use this as well. I think, you know, sometimes I get all this stuff out and I think, oh, I'm gonna use this and this and this and this, and then when I start doing it and putting it together, it all changes. Sometimes I end up digging through everything in the pile of stuff. I'm just going to put a little blob of glue right there so I can start sticking stuff down. I'm going to put my dolly down first. And I use tweezers a lot, which when I worked at IBM, that's all I worked with was tweezers. So I'm very used to them. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some eyelash trim down, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little ball of it like, and this is how I like to do it without glue on my fingers. I take the eyelash trim and I try to use the end to where it runs the direction to pull the thread open. So I'm probably going to wind it up 4 or 5 times here and then fluff it out some more, and I'm just gonna cut off a little piece right here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the end and kind of wrap around the center just to give me something to glue to, and fluff it all out. And then I'm just gonna put me a little glob of glue on there, and I'm going to stick the eyelash trim down just so it sticks. And I don't want it going all the way around really. I mean, it can a little bit, but I'm trying to make like a direction here. So just gonna put the eyelash trim down. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue in there, and I'm gonna stick my main flower. Now the flower has a part that goes up and down on this one the way it did, so I'm going to put the downside toward the edge where I'm not going to stick other flowers, because when it's up like that you can tuck the other flowers a little bit to give it the collage look. And see, I can put it, oh, I forgot to put my leaves on. That's okay, I can stick those in. I'm going to just put some hot glue on here, and I'm going to stick it underneath the doily. And you don't have to arrange those yet, because once it dries I'll arrange them. But I'm going to need, this flower's a little heavy with the glass glitter on it, so I'm going to put some more glue underneath there to make sure and hold that on. I don't want it to fall off. Now I'm going to use this flower. Oh, I did have another flower. I have these purple flowers, but as you can see, they've been pretty squished and look pretty bad. So I had to take one and reshape it and cover it with some triple thick. Now look how pretty it looks. I'm telling y'all, you should try the triple thick. It's amazing. Now this one isn't quite dry yet, so it's still got some of the little wet spots on it, but it's dry enough that I can go ahead and add it to the paintbrush. And I thought the purple looked really good with this arrangement of colors, so I'm going to add this purple one, and I'm going to add, I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame for y'all. I'm going to add this one that I also made. Now I made this one out of mulberry paper, which I think makes very pretty flowers. And let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and decide where I'm gonna put it. This one I believe I'm going to add here. Move some of the eyelash trim out of the way so it'll still come out. See, with that rose having that side sticking up like that, it has room to tuck it, so it looks like a little cluster of flowers that's been growing there. And I'm just going to add some hot glue to the back of my flower here, and then I'm going to add it and just hold it for a minute while it dries. These actually had little sticky dots on them, so it's stuck to my finger right now until I put it down, which is okay. That way it won't get messed up. And I'm just going to move the eyelash trim a little bit here, and so I can stick this one down without messing up all the eyelash trim. And since it's not dry, I'm going to grab it with my tweezers. I'm going to add some hot glue, because that sticky dot just isn't going to last forever there. Oh, got a glue string. Long one. And I'm just going to stick this one right here. And there are my cluster of flowers. Now I'm going to take and just stick a few things around. I have these pearl strands, and I'm going to cut, they're in little groups, and I'm just going to cut 2 of them off. See how they're in little groups here at the bottom? So each one has 3 strands. I'm going to just cut 2 of those off, and I'm going to add some glue to it so I can stick those in. Sometimes it feels like I'm working backwards, but it usually all works out in the end. And I'm gonna have these kind of sticking down a little bit, so I'm gonna kind of pull them over to the side, and I'm gonna pull my leaves up through them. Can't hardly see the pearls anymore. And I like to move my leaves around and kind of make them look like they're just growing all over the place. But I think that looks cute like that. And a few of these are just a little long, so I'm going to cut a couple of them off at the pearls. Not all of them, just 1 or 2. To make them just look a little different. dull scissors. These weren't the ones I cut with sandpaper. Cut sandpaper with. Okay, so got that sticking down like that. I'm gonna add my butterfly. Let's see, where do I want to add it? I think I want to add it right there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot glue. Dabble do ya? Put my butterfly there, and now I need to pick which dangle I want to put here on the handle. I have the hearts, or I kind of like the hearts, or I have this one. I don't know, y'all. I kind of like all three of them. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one. And yeah, I like that because it brings out the pink and the purple. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on the back of here. And again, this is just one of the earrings that I found. And I'm going to hang it so I know about where it comes out, where it can be seen. And let it rest there for a minute. And now the only thing left to do is to add the tassel and a hanging element. Which the hanging element, I think I'm going to use a real thin crochet ribbon like you get at Dollar Tree. Here we go. This is just the crochet trim that you get from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna take a piece of it. I am going to put it on my ribbon, and then I'm going to stick my ribbon into the hole. Now I cut it extra long so I could trim it off after I get done, because this is it's gonna fray a little bit. Now I'm going to pull my ribbon through like this, so now the tassel can hang on the side. But let's see here if I can get this to hang. Went on the wrong side. I want my tassel on the right side, so on the left side. On my other right. Let me get this now. Now my tassel is hanging to where when it's hanging on the wall, my peace sign my grandson wanted me to draw, when it's hanging on the wall, the tassel can hang down. I may pull that up and shorten it a little bit so it can hang right beside it like that. And I'm going to leave this untied and loose. That way the recipient, whoever wins it, now I'm going to give this away, whoever wins it can tie the length that they want and tie it off. So I'm going to leave it like that. But I am going to tie this off and shorten it a little bit so it'll hang right there beside it. And that is the way it will look when it's hanging. So there we go. There is the paintbrush. And whoever wins this week will receive this paintbrush. Okay, cleaned up the mess a little bit because I also wanted to go and get the rest of the prize package to show you exactly what you're going to win. And besides this paintbrush, I got one more little detail I'm going to do to the paintbrush, but besides this paintbrush, you're going to win one of these, and these are Craft Geek decorative pennant. And this is like a staple, anywhere on the page, decorative staples. and I've got one. I'm going to show you how it works. They are magnetized, so they come apart like this, and you take your paper, and I'm going to push this up just a minute. I've got some decorative. It comes with some of them, and then you can buy more at Michael's or order them online. And it comes with leaves and butterflies and different things. This is a pack of leaves, and I'm just going to pin one on this paper and show you how they work, if I can get it open here without them going everywhere. And each one just has little pretty decorative like staples, and you take it and you're gonna line it up with this and put it in your paper. You're gonna stick it in your paper and let your little prongs come through, and then you're going to line it up here, put your thing down and mash it one time, and it bends them over, and if you line it up right, it works better. I didn't line it up right, but anyway, you're going to get a brand new one of these in the package to put your own decorative little thingamabobs staples on there, and it comes with a buckle, a leaf, a daisy, a heart, and butterflies. And see, it shows you here on the back how to do it as well. But you're going to win this and the paintbrush. Now, in order to win, you have to comment and like this video, and in your comment you need to leave a smiley face with your comment. Now, if you do not know how to leave the little smiley face, just write at the end of your comment the word smile. Excuse me. So that's how you're going to win, and I'm fixing to do the drawing for last week's prize package. But first of all, I'm going to finish this up a little bit. I have some stickles, and I just like to add some glitter and stickles to my projects, make them even shabbier. I'm going to rub some on this flower and stick a lid up and make it a little bit glittery. I like to kind of put it over the edges of each petal, so I'm gonna do that. And I also like, now my big rose here, I already put glitter glass on, so I'm not gonna add any more to it, but I am going to add a little bit to my bristles, and just on the front.